In this video, I'm going to show you some quick tips and tricks for really cool bubble writing or hand lettering. You can use it in projects, even the art project that you have this term. What you will need is a piece of paper, a ruler and a pencil, and then whatever highlighters, Kokies, colored pens that you have. The first trick for doing bubble writing is to use capital letters. Capital letters are much easier to turn into bubble letters. So let's write as hello, as if we were writing it in our book in just regular thin writing. Leave quite a big space, I'd say a finger space between each letter, so that you have space to make it fatter later. So I've just written the word hello with my pencil, and now I'm going to go around the edges of it, almost like I'm outlining it, and I'm going to just use a nice bright color to make it stand out and make it easy for you to see. So I've written the word hello. What I'm going to do is go to each end and just draw a line that's about 1/2 centimeter wide, and then I'm going to join these lines together. So on each end they'll go together. Across the middle here, we need to draw our lines again. So drawing it as regular writing first helps you to make sure that you get the letter looking right, and that you have enough space and that you keep it the same height. Right, then I'm going to go to my E. I'm going to draw about 1/2 centimeter line at the end of each of them. And then I'm going to just join the lines together, following the outline of the letter that I've just used. So it's pretty much like you're outlining your writing, which is what bubble writing is really. This also helps you to keep it the same thickness the whole way around. So an L is really easy, it just has 2 lines, and then we join them together. The O is a little trickier since it doesn't have an edge. So what we're going to do is just follow the outline on the inside of the O, and then follow the outline around the edges. Then once you have your letter written, you can just take your eraser and rub out that pencil. No one will ever know. You might want to add a shadow to your letter now. Highlighters work really well for adding a shadow because they are nice and fat and they have a slant. So the shadow should always be at a little bit of a slant, and it should always be on either the left or the right. So if you pick the left, then make it the left for all of your letters. If you pick the right, make it the right for all of your letters. And then again, you can either pick the top or the bottom. So I'm going to say the left and the bottom. So I'm just going to draw a line on the left of each of these lines, and then along any of the lines that go along the bottom. Okay, this is a super easy way to make a shadow. On the left, on the bottom. On the left, on the bottom. The circle is a little bit trickier. You have to just let it come close to the circle. That's why a highlighter helps you, because it's at an angle. So it lets you make it fat and thin really easily. So you can make the line fatter and thinner quickly. Right, and if you wanted that to stand out even more, you could take that Koki that you used again and just outline the highlighter that you've done. A second tip using a highlighter again, I'm going to use my green highlighter because I like green, is to just scribble a word. So I'm going to do the word art, and I'm going to make it smaller letters because it's easy. And I'm literally just going to go around a couple of times. Scribbling it, and the more funny little lines and curves you have, the better. Then what you do to make it stand out even more is to outline each of these little scribbles. So it takes a little bit of time, but it can look really great at the end and makes really interesting writing. This was one of my favorite things to do in school instead of listen. Okay, each of the little bits of white that is inside, outline each little section. Right, so let's try and do one with your name now. I'm just going to write the word name. So I'm going to start firstly with my pencil, just drawing it like it's a normal word. I'm doing capital letters because that's a lot easier, there's no curves. Make sure that your letters are spread out equally. So I've drawn name here. I'm going to try and make this writing a bit fatter. So last time I made the edges just 1/2 centimeter, and this time I'm going to make them about 1 centimeter. You don't have to sit there with your ruler. You can just guess. Okay, and we're going to use this as our outline. So about 1 centimeter at each of the tips. Join it together. So this is exactly what I did earlier in the first word, just using the same technique again, just making it a bit fatter. Okay, let me outline it so that you can see it nice and clearly. So I'm just going to use a nice big blue Koki or felt tip pen. Last time we made a shadow just using our highlighter, and this time we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to use something called a vanishing point. Now, vanishing point just means something that everything suddenly disappears at. So in the middle of your name, find the middle letter, go to the top of your page and make a little circle. And now you're going to use your ruler, and from each of the corners of your letters, you're going to draw a line back to this circle or this vanishing point. So start on the left-hand side with each of the letters from the top and draw a line all the way back to the circle. So one side of your ruler will always be on the circle. The other side of your ruler is always going back. I'm just going to use a nice dark pen so that you can see what I'm doing nicely. I'm lining it up with the corner of the first letter, sending it back to the vanishing point, lining it up, sending it to the vanishing point. You can line one up if you can see it's not going to go anywhere, so you just leave it. So we're just going to use the tops of the letters for now. Okay, now this one, if I line it up, these lines that are going back, they can't go over another letter. So I've got a line coming from my bottom corner here, and I line it up with my vanishing point, and here at the bottom of my letter, when I draw a line, as soon as I get to the A or the next letter, I must just stop and leave it. And it would be the same from this bottom corner here. I'm going to line it up with a vanishing point and then just draw a line back until I get to a letter and then stop. Draw that line nice and clearly. Okay, then you go on to your next letter. Start with the letters that are the points that are at the top. So at each corner or each point, draw a line going back to our vanishing point. The letter from the bottom of our A doesn't touch anything, so it can go all the way back. The inside of our A, it's going over the A, so I'm going to just leave that one. And this one is also going to go over the A, so I'll just leave it. So if it's going over a letter, just leave it. Okay, we go to our M now. Each corner goes back to the vanishing point. Even the middle part of our M here. Okay, the bottom of my M, I'm going to draw the line until I get to the letter, then I'm going to stop. This one is only going to go over the letter, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, then we go to the points on our E. Remember, stop as soon as you get to a letter. So I'm just going to stop there. Here I can do one from the bottom of the E, but also I'm going to stop as soon as it gets to another letter. Okay, and what this does, it looks like the word name is shooting out from the same spot together. You can also use a bit of shading to make it look more like this. So if you grab a pencil crayon, you could do dark shading against the letter. I'm just going to show you on one of them. And then get lighter as you get to the middle. Or you could do it the other way, darker from the middle and lighter as it gets away. Then you would have a bit of dark shading in there. And it makes it look like the letter is shooting forward. I'll show you again on the N. So just against the edges of the letter, I'm pressing really hard and shading. And then I press lighter and lighter as I get closer. You could even make each one a different color to make them stand out even more. Now this term you have to use patterns on your hand lettering. So you could, on each of the letters, you could add your own pattern. So you could do polka dots, zigzags, lines, whatever you would like on these front letters. And there you've got an awesome art project that's super easy. So I'm just going to add some patterns onto my letters to show you an example of what you could do in your project. Right, and there are some simple tricks for doing awesome hand lettering.